My name is John Edwards. For 25 years, I was a member of the Spinners, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I never thought that it would get us inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You know, I say on this show, we try to highlight exceptional, remarkable people. So I have an exceptional, remarkable person, extremely exceptional, extremely remarkable, extremely talented person that I want to introduce to you today. It's a great honor to have him on the show, and I'm wearing gold because he is a gold record winning artist, a member of the Spinners singing group for 25 years, Mr. John Edwards. John, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I want to tell the story of how John got with the Spinners. Felipe Wynn had said he was leaving, and they needed a new singer. So the Spinners were looking for someone. In the meantime, the Spinnerettes, the Spinners' wives, they called us the Spinnerettes. In the meantime, the Spinnerettes went to a club and we saw John singing. So we told the Spinners, you were singing at Henry's. And you had 2 more nights there. And we told the Spinners to go see John Edwards. You've got to go to Henry and see John Edwards. You've got to go to Henry and see John Edwards. He'd be perfect with the Spinners. Well, they didn't go. And so we felt bad. But didn't we end up in Toledo, Ohio, Spinners performing, and guess who the opening act was? John Edwards. So we told the Spinners, you've got to see him now because he's right here. And we didn't know, they never let us know what they were going to do. But while John was singing, we saw the Spinners in their bathrobes. They had come out of the dressing room and they were in their bathrobes watching you. And they told us, well, you are absolutely right. He does look like a Spinner. So do you remember whether they contacted you or you contacted them when you joined the Spinners?
Well, it was actually our old manager, Buddy Allen.
Okay.
Somehow or another, he got wind of my presence, and he was instrumental in turning all of the correct handles to get me involved with the Spinners.
Oh, okay.
And there was one show that he, at the time, he was working as my manager as well.
Oh.
And there was one show that he worked his magic and got me as one of the opening acts for the group.
Oh, that's wow. See, I thought I was telling something. Now you've told me something. Wow.
And I guess the rest is history.
The rest is history. Now, one of my favorite Spinner songs of all time that I hadn't heard for a while, but I heard recently, you're well known for Cupid and Working My Way Back to You. But Now That You're Mine Again, that is the most beautiful song, and I hadn't heard it for so many years. So go to YouTube or Google and Google the Spinners and Now That You're Mine Again. You will love it. So John, thank you for Now That You're Mine Again.
Well, thank God for it.
Now the reason John is not a Spinner anymore is because he had a stroke in 2000. He had a stroke in 2002, and didn't you have heart surgery?
Yes.
But he is he has such a beautiful manner about him that he does not wear his problems, he does not put them on you. And so that's why, John, you are such an inspiration to me, because you are still You still have a smile on your face, and you still communicate with people. So you are an inspiration to me. So I'm sure you're an inspiration to others too.
Well, I try to live my life as I see it, and I
Yes.
see that for some reason the man upstairs has saw fit to keep me here, so that's enough for me to be thankful for.
And I'm thankful that he kept you here too. But you've been here longer than Pervis, so John was able to experience some things that Pervis couldn't experience. But Pervis had visions and dreams of things that were going to come true. They came true 15 years later. I'm talking about the Motown Museum and the Rock Hall of Fame. So John was there for the inclusion in the Motown Museum. So tell us about that, because you weren't with the Spinners when they were at Motown, were you?
No.
Yes.
No, I came in after the Spinners were part of Stax
In Lambert.
in Atlanta.
Yes.
And I was just lucky enough to be a part of Atlantic Records. I think I had recorded 2 albums
Okay.
for
Yes.
Atlantic before I joined the Spinners.
I remember one. Well, you had a Christmas album, didn't you?
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes. And another album that had your name, John
Right.
Edwards. I remember. Yes. So we knew you could sing. We knew you could sing. So last year, when the Spinners got inducted into the Motown Museum first.
Right.
So how did you feel about that, being in Detroit and at the Motown Museum and all?
Well, I felt, I would say I felt honored that I was included, but I did not feel like it was really something that I had a part in, because when the Spinners were with Motown, I was not a part of the group. And it just took me by surprise that they decided to include me anyway. So I felt honored that I was finally a real spinner.
Oh, you mean it took you that long to feel finally to be a real spinner? Oh my. Well, I know you didn't feel that way. They got inducted into the Motown Museum in May. And the Motown Museum now is smaller, and they're enlarging. So the Spinners will be featured in the new Motown Museum. So it was great for John to be able to come to Detroit and to be a part of that. But then that November, I know you feel like you earned the part in the Rock Hall of Fame.
Right. That was, I was on cloud 9.
Yes.
I think not only myself, but my wife and son felt honored as well.
Yes. In November, the Spinners were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and John was there, and Henry Fambro was there.
Right.
And I'm glad that they were able to experience it, because Henry Fambro passed away since then. So John is one of the last remaining official spinners. Yes. So tell me about being at the Rock Hall of Fame event.
That was something that I will never forget. I never thought that in my lifetime anything like that would happen for me. And I always thought that my ability would be something that I would carry for the rest of my life, but I never thought the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was down the road.
Isn't that something?
And it was my wife and myself, we were just blown away that the Spinners were selected to be...
Well, you know, it was the 4th nomination. Because with the 3rd nomination, I said, well, they're going to get it this time. Because, you know, you heard the saying, three is the charm or whatever.
Right.
And so then I thought, well, they're not going to make it. But the 4th nomination came through, and we were voting online, but they had other ways of deciding who made it into the Rock Hall of Fame. And so the Spinners made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, how did you feel about this induction ceremony? Because it was such a long...
Well, it was at one time tedious, and then when I stopped really to think about it, it was tedious with a purpose.
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
And I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be part of the induction.
Well, I'm so thankful that you were, and it's amazing. You said you never thought in your wildest dreams. Well, Pervis always had big dreams. When I met Pervis,
he did.
When I met Pervis, he was referred to as a broke doo-wop, and other people trying to date me were saying, "Oh, you like broke doo-wops. You don't like men that's making money." Well, the dreams that Pervis had, that I thought. He had visions and dreams of what was going to happen. I did not think it was going to happen. I did not know anyone who had become successful. Mm-hmm. So my thought was one day he's going to get a factory job. One day he's going to quit singing and get a factory job. You know, you singers hear that a lot. Do you remember hearing that when you were younger? Yeah, you need to quit singing and get a job.
Yep.
So what is it that makes you keep going and keep singing? Because you know that you said you were surprised about getting into the Rock Hall of Fame, but you kept singing.
Well,
and I'm so glad that you did. I'm talking about before getting with the Spinners, when it was hard to. It's always harder when you're starting something, but when you got to the Spinners, you had already been started. And
well, I never thought that the Rock Hall of Fame was in the cards, but I've always had love for singing. My mother sang in the choir at church, and earlier in my life, I used to live with my uncle and aunt, and my aunt was really, really involved in music. And I guess from being involved in music and going to church on Sundays, I just had a love of the sound of music and gospel music in particular. And it just came natural.
And you had the talent.
Well,
you had the talent. And if you folks, if you go to Now That You're Mine Again, John was leading on Working My Way Back to You. He was leading on Cupid, but my favorite song, and other songs, I don't remember what other songs you were leading on, but I remember Now That You're Mine Again. So am I missing a song that you can think of that you were leading on?
No, those were my favorite songs. Excuse me. Those were my favorite songs, and in particular, working my way back to you and Cupid, because of the fact Cupid and working my way back to you played a large part in the Spinners being selected for the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. And they played big part in my life, because during the time Pervis and I were separated, every time he would come over, he was saying he was working my way back to you.
He told me about that.
And I would say, he just doesn't know. I'm never coming back. But he was right. He did work his way back to me. Pervis and I were separated for 12 years, and we ended up getting back together. And you know what he sang when we got back together?
Now that you're mine again.
So those songs really have special meaning. They really
Okay.
have special meaning in my life. So I thank you for all the beautiful music you have already given, because it's there. It's a legacy that'll always be there.
Well,
So all the beautiful music that you have already done, I'm so thankful that you did. I'm so thankful that you did. Now, you were saying that you were amazed at Rock Hall of Fame and Motown Museum, but Pervis always knew things like that were going to happen. He was always expecting great things.
well, Pervis always had vision
Yes.
of the future.
Yes, and Pervis had been gone for 15 years. He passed away in 2008. And Rock Hall of Fame and Motown Museum came 15 years later. But his dreams are still coming true. And so that was a lesson for me, that he's gone, and he's been gone 15 years, but he predicted these things are still happening. He's the one that pushed me to write books. I was always writing poems, but he called them songs. He said, you got to quit writing and putting it on the shelf. You've got to quit writing and putting it on the shelf. So he took one of my poems from my first book of poems, Almost, and I don't know if you've heard Almost. He sang it. Yes. Well, I wrote Almost. Pervis sang it, and then the 3 other bass singers, Trey Cruz, Paris Delane, and Jesse Peck, who is now the bass singer, they joined their voices with Pervis for Almost.
Wow.
And that was Pervis proving to me that he could take my words and do something with it. Now, it was never released, but it was recorded many years ago. And then the book that I wrote about Inspired by Autism, Pervis pushed me to write that. So Motown had something that a lot of companies don't have, artist development.
Right. I've heard of it.
And Pervis would come home from artist development and use it on me. And I would say, Pervis, I'm not the celebrity. I don't need to know this. And you know his voice, he said, one day, wife, you're going to be glad I'm telling you this. One day, wife, you're going to be glad I'm telling you this. I'm glad. I'm glad.
God.
Because he could see what I couldn't see.
Right.
He had a vision that I didn't have. So, and music is therapy. Music is therapy for the soul. And like I say, you've got music that will last, will outlast you, it'll outlast me. All of
For eternity.
Yes, so you can be proud of that.
Well,
That is something you can be proud of.
I am proud. I never thought in my wildest dreams that my singing ability would lead to me becoming a member of the Spinners. And I never thought in my wildest dreams that working my way back to you and Cupid would be so honored.
Right. But much deserved, greatly deserved.
Well,
greatly deserved.
I thank you, and I'm just happy that I was able to do it and to do those songs with the Spinners.
I am too. And if I had a medal, you deserve another medal for the way you've handled your situation. Because they say you can't if you can't change the situation, you can change your mind about the situation. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, I had to change my mind about autism. That was my situation that I had to change my mind about. So it's time for us to take a short break. Stick and stay and don't go away, and we'll be right back.
Y'all are so natural together. It's like you got me sucked in.
Well, we are old souls.
And we family, yes.
I'm just happy to be selected to be with you.
Oh my goodness.
Because I thought you guys were still up in Michigan.
Welcome back to the Claudreen Jackson Show. I'm honored for the privilege of your time, and I want to remind you about the Pervis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation. You could go to pervisjackson.org and you can make a donation, or you can get some more information about autism. So I really appreciate people who have donated to the foundation, and thank you so much, because without help from donators and people that have it in their heart to help handicapped folks, we wouldn't be able to exist. So thank you so much. So let me get back to my exceptional guest, John Edwards of the Spinner Singing Group. And John is going to tell us a story about an incident in Africa. Can you talk about some of the traveling that you did?
Well, I can, and some of the traveling was very, very enlightening, but I'm reminded of a trip that we took to Africa, especially because it seems that in Africa, the Spinners' name was very, very honored. And I don't know exactly who the person was who started the uproar, but after meeting the Honorable President Mandela, we were performing, and for some reason there was a young man in the audience, and he started talking about what was the name of the song?
I can't think of the name of the song, but I remember the incident because Pervis said there was about to be a riot.
Right.
If you couldn't sing, if the Spinners, there was a song that was a big hit in Africa, a bigger hit there than it was here.
Right.
And they didn't have it in their lineup. But when they got to Africa, that's what the people wanted to hear.
And I was kind of afraid that we would be tarred and feathered if we did not perform that song.
So what did you have to do to perform the song?
We had to go off stage
Yes.
and try and get our minds together to remember all the lyrics to the song. And we did the song, and therefore we are still alive.
Because that Pervis said there was about to be a riot. They were chanting the name of the song and stomping their feet, and it was not a part of the lineup.
And I don't think the Spinners had done this song, oh my God, in about at least 6 years.
Yes, I know.
And we had totally forgotten all of the lyrics, and we had to go off stage and try and come up with the lyrics by heart, and we really did not have all of the song put together. And I recall I was just doing la 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 la.
But Pervis was saying that you all were so surprised that, but after the show, you did go to a record shop and get the record and learn it again so that it could be in the lineup while you were in Africa.
I swear that was one of the scariest things that I had ever lived through in my life, because I did not know what they were going to do. And everybody was nervous, even the guys in the band.
Yes, and it was rough, because Pervis came back saying, boy, we had a big scare
Right.
because we didn't do the song that they wanted. And they started chanting, and yes.
Oh, God.
So was there any other places that you went that made an impact on you? Nothing that scared you that much, but I mean, did you have a favorite location or places that you
Well-
really loved to go?
Well, we had a chance to go to Europe, and I had almost the opportunity of going back to the base I was stationed at in Europe when I was in the Army.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And we were about 2 to 3 hours from the base, and I wanted to go back to see some of the people that I had grown to like.
Yes,
While
yes,
I was
yes.
in, the town was called Ansbach, and I made quite a few friends in Ansbach, and I wanted to go back, but time would not allow.
Yes, yes.
But that was a part of my love of being with the Spinners, because being with them took me around the world.
Yes.
And I will never forget the thrill that I had, because I was a little guy from St. Louis.
All right.
And I had never thought that I would be in the situation that the Spinners put me in.
But now, when we met you, weren't you living in Chicago? Because you went to Florida.
Yeah.
John went to Florida for an engagement, and I remember talking to you. You said, "I'm staying in Florida. I'm
Right.
not going." It was during
St.
the
Louis
winter.
gets too cold.
But anyhow, our time is up. John, I want to tell you something that it inspires me. And it's I learned this because of my son, that we are all, when I was on the governor's committee, I served on the Governor Blanchard's committee for developmental disabilities for people that had disabilities in the state. And the governor's committee, their motto was, we are all only one accident away. We are all only one accident or one illness away from a disability.
Right.
Because you know that during all your years with the Spinners, we never knew that something would happen and you'd have to sit down. But you've got quite a record behind you. You have got quite a record. And like I said, I want to give you an award for your manner and for the way you have handled your situation. And I am very proud of you, because you are an inspiration.
Well, I thank you, but I would credit a lot of my psyche as being made stronger because of my wife. And I think she has been something not only great in my life, but she is one great person who I'm very fortunate enough to have found.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, and I appreciate her too. I appreciate her too because she looks after you, and I so greatly thank you. I thank you, because it wasn't easy for you to come about 30 miles, was it? You're from here? Wasn't that far?
Hey, you're worth it.
Oh, thank you. I am so glad to have this chance, and I'm so thankful that Lori, because it was her, she was the one that instigated this for you to be on the show. So it was meant to be. I wasn't meant to come to Atlanta without you being on my show.
Well, the good Lord has a way of doing things that we'll never understand.
So now you have something else that'll be. For everyone who has donated to the Pervis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation, I thank you. We wrote you a poem. If you make a donation to the Pervis Foundation, whether it be large or small, we pray that God's love comes down to you from above, because you are the best people of all. If you make a donation to the Pervis Foundation, you're helping handicapped children in need. So you can be proud of yourself, because you've already done a good deed. A donation to the foundation will help the situation. Because we can't do everything doesn't mean we can't do something. So a donation to the foundation will help the situation. We will do what we can do. Handicapped children can get help from me and you. And if you want to make a donation to the Pervis Foundation, we will greatly appreciate you. You can find us at our P.O. Box 04422. That's P.O. Box 04422, Detroit, Michigan 48204. And until next time, may the power of God protect you, may the love of God enfold you, and may you be granted favor and peace in your life. Until next time, for the Claudreen Jackson Show, don't forget to go to claudreenjackson.tv.
Cupid, roll back your bow and let your arrow go straight to my lover's heart. For me, nobody but me. Cupid, please hear my cry and let your arrow fly straight to my lover's heart.
I am Claudreen Jackson. I am the widow of Pervis Jackson of the Spinners Singing Group. And like many of you, I heard this week about the passing of John Edwards. John's voice was timeless and his presence was unforgettable. So in his honor, my team and I worked around the clock to write and produce this special song, a special tribute song titled Dear John. Now, John was more than just an icon. John was a meaningful part of my life, and he also made a great impact on my show producers. So this song is a way of saying thank you, goodbye, and we will never forget you.
Dear John is now available on all major digital platforms. Please listen and help us keep his legacy alive.
Through the highs and the lows, he stood so tall.